So the base model by itself for this car, which starts at about 18 lakhs.
With the smaller battery pack.
With the smaller battery pack, which is a 41 kilowatt hour, 41 or 42 something, like 40 something kilowatt hour battery pack, is starting at 18 lakhs, which is 1 lakh less than the BE 06. And we'll talk about this. I know you might be thinking about it. We'll talk about the BE 06 comparison.
Of course.
So, and that car itself is fairly well equipped. So it's not like a car that's not viable. It has alloy wheels. It's got dual zone climate control. It's got all the safety equipment and stuff like that. So it's a pretty decent car to get. And the electric hardware wise, the 40 something kilowatt hour battery pack means that you can expect a range from that of about 300 kilometers.
I knew he was going to say that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had a guess that he'll say 300 for this, and I'm going to say 400, 410-ish for the bigger battery pack.
Not bad. Not bad. I'll tell you what I did with the larger battery pack. Okay, we'll talk about the range first, since we are here. So that's a 51 kilowatt hour battery pack. And I drove it for a total of 220 kilometers.
Okay.
In which about 90 kilometers, and all of the driving, the 220 kilometers, was on a highway. We were on the East Coast Road. We drove almost all the way down to Puducherry and drove back up. And so all of it was highway. There was barely any slow moving traffic, city traffic, so to speak, which is ideal for EVs.
Yeah, they consume much less if you're in city traffic and going slow. Yeah.
So when I started off, the range indication was 98%. I mean, the battery charge state was 98%. The range indicated was 380 kilometers or something like that.
Okay.
And I ended the day with having had done about 220 kilometers, and I was down by about 60% charge.
On the highway, that still suggests 300-ish in everyday use.
If you extrapolate that, that means about 340 kilometers.
Yeah.
Considering highway, considering there was sport use, there was testing modes,
Yeah.
all of that. So sub-ideal conditions. That range was better than I expected.
Yeah.
Which means in normal use cases, I do think that this is a car that will get up to 400 quite regularly.
Nice.
So range is not a concern with this. That brings us to how it drives. And this is the part which I think makes this car feel so special. In every way, it feels like such an easy car to live with.
Oh, nice. Okay.
The way it drives in any of the modes, right? Eco, normal, sport. I drove it primarily in normal. I did not use it in eco. There are people who were driving there in eco and were getting even higher ranges, right? So I was using it in normal and sport. I barely used eco. And normal is such an easy mode to be in. And on the highway, I didn't feel the need to switch up to sport.
Nice.
It's quick. There's no problem with the performance on offer. It feels predictable. It's smooth. It's quiet. It's just a good car. Right?
Nice.
Yeah. I don't want to use the word nice, but it is. Nice would be putting it perfectly, actually. Yeah, nicely. It's such a nice car. I consider nice to be a bad word. It's like when you can't think of anything else, you say nice.
Yeah, it's a bit blah. The word nice in this context can be a bit blah.
It's not a blah car.
Yeah.
It's a good car. Yeah. Like, that way. And when you switch to sport mode, for just that much of throttle movement, you get more acceleration. So it feels more urgent. And my first set of notes said, no, it's quick and it's urgent, but it's not fun. And then literally, I think 3 minutes later, it was like, no, it's fun. So I really enjoyed driving it in sport mode also. Because you realize, when I switched back from sport mode to normal, I realized when I was making overtakes, I'm like, why is it not going? Why am I having to think more about this? And that's, again, a great indicator because sport mode felt natural when you started using it. So you just tap in gently and it goes away. And the performance, and the thing is, it gives you a nice surge initially. It's a well-mannered surge. It doesn't feel frantic. It feels useful. It feels good. And as you go faster, it kind of tapers off. And this is why, again, that sense of normalcy is in it.
So if I were to help you understand this, you said the BE6, for example, felt super urgent all the time, and you had a concern saying, do I want this level of performance to be in the hands of anybody who chooses to buy a BE6? And you had concerns on that front. Whereas you're saying because the Creta tapers its performance as you start to go faster, it just feels like a car that will be naturally easier for people with less skill to drive and not get themselves into all kinds of trouble with it. Am I correct?
Yes.
Nice.
So the BE6 is also a well-engineered car in terms of how it uses how it delivers its performance. It's not that it feels
Out of control like the first XUV 400s used to.
yeah. So it's not ill-mannered.
Right.
But it's just that force of acceleration just doesn't let up.
Right.
So you just keep going faster and faster and faster, and that is a bit
So
worrying.
yeah, so the B6 might appear to be the more thrilling car.
Yes.
It is. The Creta, relatively speaking, will not feel that kind of thrilling. But A, you may not be looking for the thrill is the point he's making. And B, if you're not looking for the thrill, the Creta, even in sport mode, will feel both useful and natural rather than frantic and urgent.
This is a this is a good one. The BE6's 0 to 100 time was 6 point something seconds.
Yeah, 6.6, I think, if I remember correctly, you said.
Yeah, 6.7. And the 9 was 6.8. Correct. So the Creta N line's 0 to 100 is 8.9.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. This car is 7.9.
Nice. Okay.
So it's not a slow car.
Correct.
It's also a quick car. But the way they managed to calibrate it, the way they managed to design how it drives, it doesn't feel intimidating.
Yes, and I think I understand it, right? The B6 does promise to be a mini Urus, as it were.
Yeah.
Whereas the Creta Electric is just an electric Creta. So you don't need a huge change in performance.
So, I was talking about, somebody was asking me, what is the Creta? And we've spoken about this as a personality, what the Creta is in one of our stories. You can see all of them on the app. We've done a fair few stories on the Creta and Seltos and comparisons. And we said that the Creta isn't the cool elder brother. It isn't the fuddy-duddy father either. It's like this relatable uncle in the family, the guy you go
I
to
remember this,
for,
yes.
the guy you go to and talk to and ask for help, or the guy you can lean on, right? That's the Creta. And that personality is there in the EV, only it's even more refined.
Nice.
It's got even more ability in terms of how it drives. It's got the sensible quotient locked in. Like we said, that range, why would you, for most people, the smaller battery pack can work just as well if you're a city user.
Yeah, you don't need more.
Right? Yep. You don't need more. Even if, like, I spend a lot of time between Mumbai and Pune, and for me, I was just thinking about it. If I get genuine 300 kilometers, I'm sorted.
Yeah, you're sorted.
It's
Yeah, because it's a 265, 66 kilometer commute round trip for him. So
Yeah.
if it genuinely gives you 300, 310, you've got 40 kilometers of backup range, and that's enough.
Hello. If you enjoyed this clip, which means you're into good conversations, and that's what we're all about. It's really hard packing in the essence of an idea into a 60-second clip. This 3-minute, 5-minute video would have given you a sense of that. And you can enjoy this entire conversation in its full glory on the MotorInc channel. So why don't you head out over there and subscribe to that? And you could subscribe to this channel as well if you enjoyed it.